is episode 7, and for it, we have Zbigniew Radecki, a former Polish SWAT team member and JW GROM operator who completed several deployments to the Middle East and beyond. Zbigniew sat down with me today to talk about his time as a breacher in GROM and about his formation of the North Coast Tactical Solutions Group, or NCTS group. I hope you all enjoy listening to this episode as much as I enjoyed speaking with him. Before this episode starts, I'd like to ask you all to like, comment, and share. Don't forget to hit the bell notification so that you can receive updates on the channel and other news. I hope you all have a safe and wonderful day. Thank you. All right, man. So I'm recording now. If you just want to, you can start off with where you were born in Poland and your early life, if you'd like. So.
Okay, so I was born in like a small village in the east part of Poland. Probably doesn't tell you something or your followers, but it's in a place called Masuria. So like a lot of forests, all of those things. And after like few years there, my parents moved to Gdansk. So it's in the north part of Poland, near the Baltic Sea. And since that moment, like all my life, I spent here living. So Baltic Sea is like, let's say, cold, and the area here is like cold. So sometimes it's fun. It was fun when like guys from other teams, from states or other countries came here, and they've been thinking it's like more climate like in Florida in February, and that was like a
it's a surprise.
It was like a surprise for those guys, especially like doing OTB or that type of training. Let's say sometimes they were not good prepared.
So, for the viewers, Gdansk is the capital of Poland, right? Or is that Warsaw?
No, it's Warsaw. So Warsaw is like going south from Gdańsk, like 400 kilometers. It's approximately 200 miles, let's say. And Gdańsk is like straight north, just like on the Baltic Sea coast.
Okay, for sure. So growing up there, do you think that like being in the cold, like is that how all of Poland is usually? Or?
No, come on, no, it's not like this. It's like many guys from other countries, also from states, come here, and they are like super surprised, like how nice it is in Poland. Like especially with the like nighttime living, I would say, and the climate here, because like we are a small country, like not even size of Texas, I would say. But even though we have like 4 types of weather during the year, in past there was like winters were strong. When I was a child, it was like very strong, but those years, because of the climate change and everything else, it's like, you know, in middle, I would say.
Okay.
Compared to like summer, it depends of the year. Sometimes it's super hot, sometimes it's like just warm, I would say.
So do you think that living in the cold when you were a child, do you think that better prepared you for selection later down the road, or do you think it didn't play a factor?
Well, I was never thinking about that. It's like, I think you are the first person to ask me that. I'm the person who prefers warm climate. So for me, like, you know, instructors on a basic course, they always try to find the weakest point in you, and they know how to find it. So probably wet conditions and cold weather is like something I hate most.
So and later on when you joined GROM, did you guys do a lot of like maritime missions?
Well, I was in Bravo Squadron. So the Bravo Squadron is situated in Gdansk, and it's not classified. It's like everywhere you can find it, so it's not a big issue. And back years, the Bravo Squadron was called by most of the people Maritime Squadron, but it changed, it developed because of the situation, and for many years, like looking back, since when I joined the team, like it was like each squadron was responsible for everything. So each squadron in GROM had to train maritime and everything else, hostage, direct operations, and like I mean, like whatever you can think about. It's like GROM is not a big unit compared to SOCOM units, so we've been responsible to do like everything.
Okay. So you grow up in Gdansk. How did you end up joining the Polish military?
You know, it's like in Polish. I don't know how it works in other countries, but in Poland, most of people who join special operation forces like GROM and few others, they used to work in different units of military or special police units. So before I joined the GROM, I was working in a police SWAT unit. So it's like different, as I heard, between states and here, because most of guys after military in states, they go to different police units. Here it's quite opposite. Like people from special from SWAT units, they join GROM or like another SOF forces in Poland. So so before I was working in SWAT for 7.5 years.
And so you didn't join the army, you were a police officer.
So the regulations in Poland allows now even civilian to join the special forces. They have to like pass the physical, the mental exams. Depends if they want to go to the squadron as assaulters, they have to pass selection. If they want to be in logistic, they have to pass qualification in mountains, and there are like another test for those guys or for those people, I would say. So there were no issues for me to join the GROM when I was in SWAT. Of course, I had to pass the selections, the talking with the I'm not sure if I use correct word with the you know, psyops, those things, you know,
like a mental evaluation.
Yes, exactly, a lot of those. So I didn't pass the first selection in mountains because I was not good prepared enough. There is no reason to like look for mistakes somewhere else. That was like my mistake because I was not good prepared. And half year later, I was like training for half year, a lot of like walking and other things. And after half year, I passed the selection to the GROM, and that was like the beginning of everything, because like then you have 1 year of basic course, and that's like a lot of guys didn't pass it, I would say.
Yeah. So before we get into the basic course, or it's kind of like Delta OTC, right?
Yes, exactly.
So before we get into that, what is it like to be a SWAT officer in Poland? Because traditionally, people don't think of Poland as a place with a lot of crime. So what were the type of missions that you were doing in SWAT?
You know, I'm happy you said this, because you're right. Like now, those years, I would say that most of the criminals are in like white t-shirts. I'm not sure if you know what I mean. but they are doing their business like under the tables, etc. In 80s
Oh, so
and
it's like
90s.
white collar crime.
Oh yeah, exactly. But in 80s, 90s, and beginning of 20s, before the ministry responsible for the like police and things domestic, before they signed a police unit that is called CBH. H is in Poland S with like a slash above. So that unit was responsible is responsible for like finding the most dangerous criminals in Poland. Yes, and also they cooperate with Interpol, etc., Europol, and like SWAT units. They are working on trigger for other like special police units that are more investigating of like criminal things.
Oh, so they carry out the raids for the investigators.
Yes, exactly. So we've been like all the time like on trigger for like for the most danger to catch the most dangerous criminals. My unit was in Gdansk, so we've been responsible for the north part of Poland area, I would say. And back years when I was, we had like a nice jobs of like a SWAT things like you see like on the movies, yes. But like most of like danger criminals we've been trying to catch like outside of the houses. So like we've been specialized in the stopping the cars. I don't not sure if I like if you understand what I mean.
Like a
But
vehicle interdiction.
Yes, we've been trying to do always like that most dangerous guys to catch them like outside of the houses, not to have like a collateral damage or like think about kids inside of those things, because the law here is like a restricted, I would say, compared. I mean, in using of guns compared like to states. So you can have a lot of problems if you use it incorrectly.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. So, with that being said, like, did you guys ever get into firefights or
In
in
SWAT?
SWAT? Yeah, in SWAT.
Yes. That there was few situations in my history, but it's it's like we've been trying always to do everything that we could not to go into this situation, because that means we, sorry for words, like fuck up the process of planning, I would say. But of course there was like criminals who use like a explosive to like steal some things, and there've been situations that teams had to use the guns to grab the guys or like few other things. But I'm not sure if it's good to say about those things, because like few of those guys are still working and I wouldn't like them to have problems. I don't care about me, but still those are my friends, very good. So
Yeah, for sure. I understand.
yes.
So when you left SWAT and you made a GROM selection the second time, how old were you?
Yes. How, say again, please.
How old were you when you passed GROM selection?
Now I'm 41, so that was like approximately 30 years, something like that.
And is it common
So,
for is it common
yes.
is it common for younger guys to join GROM, or is that a unit where it's
No,
mostly older guys?
no. GROM prefers to like take guys who have like a good history of things they've done in past, like in other like military units or other police units. because we think that like the guys who are like approximately, let's say 27, 28, they are like on good level of their mental like skills. They are still like super like good endurance, but they will not have problems like PTSD or other things because they've been like super young. So I know that that's the like a lot. That's the difference between like us and like the states, for example. But I think the instructors and all like the chief of training and the way it works. Like we don't have those problems with guys. They don't have like a, let's say, mental problems after like being deployed somewhere or doing things. So in my opinion, if you reach like, let's say 27, 28, you have your family, you have like a good good way of living. That means you are ready to like, okay, I'm ready to try to join the team, let's say. And now I think the uh, age level go down a little bit, because as far as I know now, the people who want to join the assault teams, they cannot be older than 30. So it's still like on level approximately 30 years old, but you need things that they have to like work at least 10 years as assaulters, like to, you know, pay the bills, I would say.
Mm. So when you were there, who was the youngest guy? At least that you know of.
Well, you know, I'm from I was born in 1983, and we say that that's of course, let's say, joke, but we say that those years between 82 and 84 are the toughest because we survived Chernobyl explosion. So in my course, like most of guys were from my were the same age as I was. There was like one guy who's super tough and super endurance, and he was like 37, I think, on the basic course, and he passed it. But the youngest, I think, maybe 27, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe 26. I'm not sure, and I don't want to lie.
Yeah. Okay. For sure. So, without going into too much detail, how long is the basic course, and what types of things are you guys learning there?
So the basic course, you can divide it into two parts. So one part is for all people who pass selection and qualification. It's like nights without sleeping, with Siri course, with navigations, with comms, with like a green tactic, I would say. I'm not sure if I use it correctly, but it's like, you know, the forest tactic. So this part is approximately, when it was 3 months. And after that, the people who wants to go to, who are only after the qualification and who pass this like part of course, they can be attached to logistic or like comms guys, medicine guys. And the other part for the assaulters is for another 8 months, 8.5, depends of the year, depends of how many people are on the basic course. And this part is like divided for like sections. So first section is like shooting every day, 16 hours a day of shooting. I had opportunity to had, I think, the best instructors in my life that I met, both tactic and shooting. I will not tell those nicknames because few of them are still working, but I was proud that I was able to pass the course when they've been my instructors. And they've been like a tough guys. They didn't pass you if you like make mistakes somewhere. Like they didn't care. Like one mistake, second mistake, you go out. Sometimes third mistake. It depends of the level of it. And after that, when you pass the exam, shooting exam, you are allowed to go on the follow-on training. That's like a CQC training tactic, and that is mixed with like everything. Now it changed a little, and that's super good because we are trying to find on that part guys to be specialized in something. Like we are doing like a basic course in breaching. During that part, we are doing basic course of comms, advanced comms, a basic course of advanced medicine things. And we are trying to find the best guys who, if they will pass the course, they're gonna go to squadrons and teams, and they're gonna like be sent to follow on training in the specialized. They've been like the best one, I would say. And of course, after like the CQB, CQC, which is like for 8 months, all the time, there is like a VIP tactic. There is part of course you have to pass is the skydiving course, free fall, and military free fall. So it's like your day is always too short, I would say.
And with the military free fall, do you guys have that capability in Poland, or do you guys jump in America?
Both. Both. It depends of the altitude, because if you wanted to do like high opening jumps from the high altitude, like 10,000 meters, so it's 10,000 meters is, I don't know how many feet, I think 40,000 feet or something like this. So to do that, you have to close like a huge area for the airplanes. Yes, and that's the problem. So those are not super common, but guys are training that, of course. You know why? But since few years right now, guys are going to Arizona for the I think 2 or 3 weeks every year. I'm not sure, and they are doing like jumps there. And there was like a nice story with one guy, but let's say there is like a huge electric wires there near the landing zone, and that was an issue one time with one guy. Yes. But I will not say who that was. He survived, but like the fire station guys. How do you say it?
Fire department.
Yes, they've been like super surprised because he was the first guy who survived it.
I think
everybody died.
there's a picture. It's from a few years ago. There's a guy in Arizona too, and he's hanging from electric wires. I'm not sure if he was American or not, but maybe it was your friend.
Maybe we are talking about the same guy. So, but
That
he's
might be
super
your
tough,
teammate.
and if this is his picture, let's say Poland won this fight.
So, so when you guys finish selection, is there, or the basic course, I'll say, is there more training after that, or do you go to your team?
So after the basic course, some guys can choose which squadron they can like go. Sometimes people cannot choose, and you have to fill the teams that have the lowest amount of assaulters, let's say. So I had this opportunity to join the team that I wanted to go, and that was the Bravo Squadron in Gdansk. And I joined the first team in the first section. And the guy who was that time the captain, he was in charge of the section. For me, that was the best officer I met in my life, and I have huge honor for him. So and then when you join the team, then everything starts, I would say, because everybody tells you forget everything from basic course. Now we are doing this shit like this. So now you have to find yourself like in a team that is experienced, that has like a good history of being deployed in places, and you have to like follow their steps, I would say.
So why did you choose B Squadron out of the other teams?
First of all, like I was living in Gdansk, so for me that squadron was like super close to my home. That was first thing. And the second thing that is also like was famous back years is that the teams in the squadron, I don't want to offend nobody, but let's say the climate in the teams was the best in the unit. If you understand what I mean, it's like people were great, like in the team between the sections, between the teams, and I have no idea how to say it in English. It's in Polish it's called szydera. It's like you joke all the time of something, and it's like you have to just pass this part of your life as a young guy in the team, and I have no idea what is it called.
Is it like banter or hazing, something like that?
Hazing sounds
like all the guys will mess with you when you're new.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but like they are doing on so good quality level. You are like all the time pushed to your limits. I would say your mental limits, but in the good way, I would say. So it's that climate in the teams was when I joined the team was amazing, and the captain who was like my chief, I would say, he was the guy who I wanted to follow like next years, I would say.
So how do you know what the unit is like when you're in selection? When you're in selection, do the actual operators talk to you guys, or
No,
how does
no,
that
no,
work?
no. It's like when you are on selection, nobody talk like you are nobody, even if you have friends in unit, because Poland is small. Yes, everybody knows everybody. I would say in this environment, like when I was in SWAT, we've been like training sometimes with the GROM. So we like mix on sometimes on exercises. We mix like exchange knowledge, I would say. We've been like learning from guys from GROM. Yes, so we knew those guys, but you have to like when you go to GROM, you have white paper, like nobody cares about your history, nobody cares what you did, if you've been tough or no. You have to show like now you start like your new life. Yes, so even if your friend is an instructor, he's not your friend. So you just have to like understand this and do not discuss, I would say.
Okay, I get what you mean. So so when you joined B Squadron and you joined your team, how experienced were the guys on your team? Like how long had they been in GROM?
Oh, that was great because like all the guys in my section were like approximately 10 years experience already. Like, so I had great guys that I can like learn their knowledge, and the captain was super experienced. The major who was responsible for the team also, and all the guys, the enlisted guys in the sections, like they've had like four times being deployed in different countries, in Afghanistan also. So I had opportunity to learn from the super experienced guys. They've been, and they knew me like super fast, especially two guys that they knew that, well, Rock, you're not gonna be a good comms guys, you're not gonna be a good guys like a medicine guy. Do you like explosive? I said, yeah, man, that's the life. So that's how I started to learn to be a young breacher. Back years, it was something like this. Now it's like it looks quite different, I would say.
So, is it true that they call GROM the surgeons? Is that true at all?
Surgeons?
Yeah, I've always just heard that the unit is called the surgeons, like a nickname, because like they have great medical training. That's what I've heard. But
Uh, well, to be honest, like I was, I cannot say yes or I cannot say no because I was so focused on my like breaching things that I didn't care about else, I would say. But I know that in each team there was always like a experienced guys, the surgeon, and always there was like a with team being deployed a good doctor, like with huge experience. So if this is the answer to your question, I would say yes. But I was this type of guy who was like focused on his job instead of thinking about everybody else.
okay, I see what you mean. So, um, you passed the basic course in 2013,
Yes.
um,
Oh no,
and
2013 I joined the team and I passed the basic course to 2014.
okay. So 2014, what was your first deployment?
Well, I had to choose to go to Iraq, or I had to choose to go to the EOD course to Eglin, and like my commander said, think Rock, what do you prefer? What can be like better for the unit? And my team went to Iraq, and I went to Eglin for the EOD course. And after I came back, I went to Iraq next year.
And so your first deployment was in 2015 to Iraq, right?
20, uh, no, that was 2018 in Iraq.
Okay. And did you ever go to Afghanistan at all?
Yes, so we've been sent. My squadron was sent to north part of Afghanistan to Kunduz, and that was like that was the hot time, I would say. There we met like a great guys from ODA teams working there, and the area was like all the area when we check the battle maps were like everywhere, like Taliban headquarters, those things. And the time was super nice till the moment that one guy, you know, probably who I mean, said we start to call Talibans our like colleagues. I would say, of course, I'm using bad word, but you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like everything just finished like in a movie. Yes, so we've been like super surprised. What the fuck? But that's the life. You just have to follow orders, and the time being there was like nice. We mixed our experience with the ODA guys from 17, and I cannot talk about those things because our law is restricted. So I cannot go to specific things, but let's say as a breacher, I had a lot of things to do there.
Okay, I get what you mean. So, when you guys were deployed, anywhere, like any country, did you ever work with, did you personally ever work with like Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, those types of units?
No, I didn't have this opportunity. Uh, Training is one thing, but being deployed, no. So guys before me, yes, but I didn't have this opportunity.
So, if then in training, then what was your experience like with JSOC in training?
You know, like the most experience I would say, and I can compare, is to 22 Regiment SAS. So we spent a lot of time training with those guys, especially like especially me in a breaching part and later shooting. So I can like compare to level of guys between those units. Yes, I think that you know, it's like how we say Yankees. You know, I'm not sure if I spell it correctly. It's like
Yeah,
white guys. Okay, let's go. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. It's like there is like hundreds of us. We can like bam, let's go there. Like the way I think most of units in Europe think is like a stop, look, listen, think, act. Yes. So like if it's not hostage, there is no reason to rush. It's better to stop, think, and like think about maneuver and like what you can do better. Yes,
Hmm.
instead of like unleash the dogs, I would say. Uh, so in this level, compared assaulters, I think we are like, and I think the guys think the same. We are on the same page. But the problem, I think, the biggest problem when it comes to Poland is about like to transport your soldiers in a like area of conflict. I would say this is a big issue, and we've been always like we had always like a huge support of like United States in this part of like. Mm,
So you guys usually had to use U.S. aircraft for
Yes,
missions.
yes. To be honest, yes, that's true, and it's changing right now because of the situation on our east border. Like Poland is like spending $1 billion for everything, and that's super good because we have enemy on our right. So because of that, like things are going in super good direction. Also with that, as I mentioned like before. But back years, like we had to like we had to have colleagues, I would say, to like do things. Also as a like airstrike support on the mission, etc. So that was also like a joint operations, I would say.
I see what you mean. So, with that being said, I don't want to get too off track, but um, when you were still in the unit, did you when did you leave?
So I left the unit and when retired in 2022. So 1.5 years ago.
So did you see any of the when you were still there, did you see any of that funding come to GROM, and did it like change how you guys did your training or
Yes, yes. So I think GROM was always like on a super good level when it comes to the equipment. Like everything that goes to soft forces in Poland, first goes to GROM, and later on that like goes to another units. Even though there is like a part of military that's supposed to like share the things between the units, like we've been always the first one because other units also honor us like around the world. So like everybody knows GROM, not everybody knows other units. I don't want to offend those guys because it's not my level. I would say they're always also super good and experience in the way they do in the job they do, but GROM was always the on a like cherry on the cake. So the equipment we had was great. The equipment as assaulters had was always great. Then there was like a airborne Black Hawks attached only to GROM, so that was like on trigger for GROM guys, and that was like needle in eye of everybody else. I'm not sure how it is right now. I know that GROM use it, and it use it in the best way that Poland can do. So I'm proud of the guys that are still like working and doing things.
So, so I know that the difference between most European countries and America is that you guys can use your tier 1 units inside of the country. So, has there ever been like a credible threat for you guys to be deployed inside of Poland? Without going into too many details.
Well, if the president has to give order military to work inside country. That's how it works. So it's not like somebody is gonna call like commander of GROM and he's gonna ask him for help. No, it's like president needs to give the order. It can be signed by president in like specific situations. There was one situation that we've been allowed to operate in country, but I will not go in details.
Okay.
Normally, like in a normal situation, for 99.9 domestic operation is responsible like a main SWAT unit that is called BOA in Warsaw. So those guys are like counter-terror police unit, and they are responsible for domestic operations, whatever that means, like, and whatever they have to do. They can like the general of police. I'm not sure if I'm like going in order of like who needs to give order, etc. But as far as I know, like the general of police, he needs to ask like somebody higher rank for like being to approve like things that GROM can do. But it's not common. It's not common.
Okay. So how is it when you're not deployed? Are you guys still training every day? What does your week look like?
Yes. So when we are not deployed, the training is. I would say that families doesn't see a lot of us during the year. So sometimes it doesn't change nothing if you are deployed, or if you are like back home during doing like a normal period of training, because normally your day is between Monday and Friday, like every day, 8-10 hours of working, training, shooting, tactic, but sometimes you go for like 1 month to mountains, sometimes you're going like for like underwater demolition course. Sometimes you're going on another course, and when you like attach all those things, it's like in the summary, like you are maybe like 2 months in a year in home. So that's the life of operator here.
And were you married throughout the entire time you were in GROM?
I don't like to say about those things.
Oh, okay. 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 Sure. So, uh, if I'm trying to think of
No, no
how to
problem.
word it. So if you can, without being too specific, what do you think your most dangerous deployment was?
I think the Kunduz was like the night in Kunduz were wild, I would say, because like the area we've been like responsible was famous of IEDs everywhere. So wherever we go, we had to like cross fingers somebody will not like put his feet on the IED. So I think that was one of the reason, and the second reason was that area was super crowded. So when you do like a hill operations, there were no offset like in guys before years in Kandahar and the other areas, like a few kilometers of offset. No, here you landed like sometimes 100 meters from the HQ of the bad guys, and that was the issue of like being hit by a RPG or other things. So I think that was those two reasons were like the most influence like the ops.
So I know in Kunduz there was I think there was like there was an Afghan NDS team out there or something like that. But
Yeah, nice guys, nice guys.
did you work extensively with the Afghans while you were there?
Yes, we've been attached to NDS guys. I don't want to say which team, but super experienced team and with great commander. So the guys we met and we've been working were like super tough, I would say. I'm not sure what happened later. Uh, I have no idea, but I hope that they are somewhere there still living, I would say.
And what was your where was your last deployment?
Yeah, my last was there because when I came back from Kunduz, like I have like 5 months uh, of free time, I would say, like taking all the holidays, etc. And after that, I was asked to move from Gdansk to Warsaw and to be responsible for breaching in the unit. So after that, I would say I started to be more like a white tactic guy who who's trying to like play with the puzzles, like so that everything can work in the breaching in the unit. I have opportunity to meet guys, sorry, who put the breaching in the unit in the super high level, and they went retired, and like I was asked to be master breacher of the unit by one of my friends, and I was honored with that. So I started to do this part of job in the unit before I went retired.
And so I know the unit was deployed at the airport in Kabul. Did you go there?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no. That time I was uh, another squadron went there. I don't want to say which one. The guys were like ready to go, I think, in few hours. So that was like the general of the Ministry of Defense and the general. They were like super surprised because the guys were like on trigger, waiting. They went there. I don't want to talk about their job, but that time I was doing like my thing as a breacher in the unit. So you have to know when to put your rifle on the wall, I would say, and try to like go better in the other skills, so the young guys can have somebody to follow also.
Okay.
It's normal way of like your life, circle of life. Well,
So, if I usually like to ask guests this before we finish talking, but if you could go back, would you do it all over again, the same?
I would do it a few years earlier, I would say. But I had like a huge accident with my arm, and for like a few months, I was like, one leg with about 1 feet. I was like in heaven, I would say, because of the problems I had, and because of that, I skipped like 2 years in my life. Still being in SWAT instead of trying to go to GROM. So I would say just to be smarter guy, but if I know I fall down, I would sit. Yes, so that's the life.
And so when you left GROM,
Yeah.
what have you been doing since then? And what is NCTS group?
So when I left the GROM, well, like coming back years, like when I was in the police academy, I met my friend who is my brother, I would say. We know each other like 20 years right now, almost 20 years, and we are like twins, I would say. So we both joined the SWAT. He went to one team, I went to another team, then he went to BOA. I still was in SWAT, then he went to GROM, I went to GROM, and then we've been like trying to push the limits. And when we came to the wall, like being in NATO forces and things that happened like in our friends in Ukraine, we said no, we have to leave the military to do things, because as a NATO, you have like you cannot do nothing, I would say. So we said to ourselves, it's time for us to leave the team, and we went east. And let's say that was good time. That was great decision, and as a guys, we are like we say in Poland, w czepku urodzony. That means like nothing will happen to you if you, how to say it, like, okay, so once again, we say in Poland, w czepku urodzony, that means like you have your guardian angel above you. So we had in our life and there, and I think that's all I can say due to the situation on our east border.
Okay. So what does your company actually, well, do you guys I'll put it this way. Do you guys train civilians in Poland?
Well, if you ask about the NCTS, I had this idea when we've been like doing things on is that you have to start to think when to leave area and still be alive, I would say. So that was in my head for like, I would say maybe 2-3 years, that I want to start something, my business, my company, and be responsible for your child, how it grow up, in which direction it will go, to be like responsible for everything. So I started this business right now. It started in November, I would say, 2023. And most of the time it's like shooting, training people of shooting. Yes, I think that there is a space for everybody. I honor like sport shooters. I honor them super because they're like Polish IPSC shooters are world champions this year, 2023. So like the level of shooting is sport shooting is like in super good quality. But the way I think and the people I met in my life when I was like in Rome from the other teams, tier 1 units, I would say. On my question, what do you think about like how can you compare sports shooting to like a combat teaching of shooting? And one of super experienced guys, the legend I met, he told me, Rock, think about this, like how many things you can learn from sports shooters and how many things they can learn about shooting from you, because you look on the problem like a super wide spread knowledge, and they are super focused like on things. Yes, so I'm not trying to teach people sport shooting because I'm not a athlete, I would say, in shooting. I'm trying to teach people like a combat shooting with night visions and like in the high risk environment, I would say. And this is like the one part of the company. The another part is like, let's say, VIP protection for people who can afford for us, and organizing like close protection in like a high risk environment. But that part of company is still like a super small child, so I hope in future it will like grow up due to like the knowledge we have.
Okay. And your partner, what's his name?
He's not my partner in company. We are doing things together, but we are like separate in our like companies. He's like doing still things somewhere. I cannot say where, but his nickname is Horse. And if one day he's gonna hear this, I'm sure he's gonna be proud. And yeah, I think his nickname says everything. He is like a horseman.
Okay. All right, for sure. So with that being said, I mean, I don't really have anything else for you. I think it was a good conversation. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope you enjoyed talking. Thank you for speaking. It's cool to talk to a GROM guy. I've never done that before. So I appreciate you.
Thank you for your time, and I hope like the knowledge about GROM and the history, because the history of GROM is I would say long enough. If you wanna have time in your life to read why the GROM is called GROM, because of who and what the guys did in beginning of 90s, like, or if people would read about the history of that, that's like a good history of things that few guys did somewhere for your guys, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I think the stories, it always interests me because you guys, it was just a few people and they learned from the SAS and Delta Force,
Yeah, exactly.
and now it's a unit that looks like those ones. So but yeah, man, thank you so much for speaking with me.
I appreciate your time also, and thank you.